Hi everybody. Well, it's time to have a conversation with Crawford again. A great deal has happened the last couple of weeks, but let's make this short and sweet. About 10 days ago, we had the caravan from the Division of Real Estate down. It was good to see those people. They're good, familiar friends and certainly have our well-being at heart. But I did talk to Jonathan, who's the director, and in their presentation, they talked about a number of things. So let me just kind of highlight. I made a lot of notes for you to just kind of share. There was about 10% of the board was there, so that means 90% of you didn't have the opportunity of sitting through that 3-hour core class. I would certainly encourage you to sit through that class. But the first thing they talked about was broker supervision. Apparently they're having a great number of complaints, particularly related to an agent not being properly supervised by the managing broker or the broker owner. So that's a big issue, and coincidental with that, they made it a big play to have a good policies and procedures manual. So for those of you that are watching, if you don't have a good policies and procedures manual, go to your managing broker and tell them that the division is really looking to that, because that's the bridge of supervision between the agent and the manager or the managing broker. So that policies and procedures manual really activates it. Second, and probably as important or more important, is that your errors and omissions insurance will look to that bridge, that policies and procedures manual, as a way of making sure that your policy is in effect. They want broker supervision, so does the division. And then of course they had a section on the new documents that will be involved in the closing, and they discussed the new bureau, what they call the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, that will be taking over HUD and the Truth in Lending. And they talked about those forms. Now I've been to a couple of sessions now trying to very quickly be educated on what to do, and I've attached a link below about 4 different forms that are a summary that you can look at, and it's really helpful. Now these forms I obtained from Southern Utah Title Company. I went to a private invitation only kind of a broker seminar, got brought up to date and thought, you know what, you guys need to see these forms also. So if you're interested, click on one of those links below that says the new CFPB forms. It's been interesting to me, because what I'm hearing is that we're supposed to casually and just kind of indiscriminately add 2 weeks to the closing. Well, in many cases that isn't going to happen. So you need to go to your managing broker and either have an in-house training program or attend one of the many programs that are going to be scheduled over the Board of Realtors over the next month or two, so that you can be brought up to date. I did ask Jonathan though if the new forms would impact our current real estate purchase contract, our REPSI. And he said that at the present time there is no discussion of adding any language in that would accommodate these new forms. So there's kind of a rumor out that there might be a new REPSI agreement, and that's just not the case. They also talked a lot about agency disclosures, sub-agency. A sub-agency is not something most of us even think about. But step back for a minute. When you sign an exclusive right to sell, you identify the listing company and, if you will, the designated broker. And then if some other broker in the company goes out and does activities, or even an open house, if you will, for that seller, theoretically you have a sub-agency relationship. So they want you to be very careful and go back and make full disclosure on those things. I won't go into it, but they came up with a number of points for the appraisals. Appraisal is an issue, and they've made major changes. And so you appraisers that might be looking, you need to go to the state website and see what those changes are. He gave some interesting statistics for you in terms of how many licensees were there in 2007. In 2007, there were 24,000 real estate licensees. Then 3 years later, in 2010, that number dropped to 15,000. And then 4 years later, in 2014, that number was back up to 19,000. So we went from a high 7 years ago of 24,000 licensees to we're currently running about 19,000. One of the headaches they have is the expiration date. The agents are not checking into their accounts online and making sure their licenses are current. So please remember to do that. The other link I've attached, we had a lady come into our office meeting. Her name is Lycia Langston. She's from the Utah Department Bureau of Workplace, and she shared with us some great statistics for Washington County. And so I've attached a link to that presentation also. So be sure you look at that one. That's a good one. Number two, I also attached a report from the National Association of Realtors Economists. His name is Lawrence Young, and he had a couple of pages of statistics and information that might be of interest to you if you aren't current on that. I'll try to always attach those to these little conversations so you've got an update. So, in summary, I want you to know that we put the Utah workforce statistics on the link. We put the forms from Southern Utah Title Company on this new CFPB process on the links. Of course, I always throw in 2014 top real estate offices so that I can kind of brag and show off about that. I'm real proud of the office. But check how your office is doing. And then this national economist, Lawrence, who had some interesting things to share with us. So stay tuned for some more updates. There's lots going on. I want to remind you to be sure you attend the June 4th and June 5th retreat. We've got a good audience coming in, and we've got good speakers coming in. So make sure that you're involved in that, and you can do that. So stay tuned until the next time we touch together. This is Crawford signing off.